Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and today we're looking at Wolverine as a PvP juggernaut. And I use that word, of course, referencing the other character in the game that's been added recently. But Wolverine underwent a change recently on my roster, very recently, and I'm pretty happy with the results. So I wanted to share them with you guys, not only from a PvP perspective in terms of autoplay, but I also want to do some manual play as well. I want to discuss some best matchups for him. I want to discuss some characters that you should still try to avoid, because unfortunately, you can see here he's not perfectly invincible. He's not totally unkillable, but he's pretty close. And he's very fun to play. So I think if you have a built-up Wolverine, and if you're possibly considering tier 3ing him, I think PvP is the way to go. I did quite a lot of training, or quite a lot of experience having and practice and testing with him in PvE with a CTP of Rage, and it was fun, and it was nice to see Wolverine tearing up Proxima's booty, but it didn't really feel right. He still gets out DPS'd by Mr. Fantastic. He still gets out DPS'd by other characters that are not combat types like Deadpool. So it just felt kind of weird. So I went ahead and I unequipped his CTP of Rage, and I equipped one of the best CTPs of regeneration I've ever rolled. Now the shield is actually not perfect. It's only at 8%, but holy shit, it's almost got perfect max HP and recovery rate to go along with the guard break immunity. So he is looking like a whole snack. Now this team up and his stats on his details page are part of this team up. This is the kind of best team up in the game for Wolverine specifically. This is not necessarily the best PvP team for Wolverine, but this is the best team if I'm just going to flex Wolverine's stats, because we've got the 30% leadership for the HP, we've got the Wasp debuff and for the tier 2 passive, and the 10% HP on her uniform. We've got the energy defense extra team up, and then we've also got the crit rate dodge team up. So there's a lot going on here. I have a hilarious 91,919 HP, and that's really the important part here. I didn't do anything else to change around his build other than re-rolling his 4th gear. It was at recovery rate, but because I'm way over the cap now on recovery rate because of this 87.9%, and you can see here that 250 is the max, and I'm over by more than 50%, and I actually can't get it any lower than that. I don't need any more, so I actually went for attack speed here. If I could reroll this to max HP, I absolutely would, but attack speed is pretty nice as well. Otherwise, the uniform is looking mythic, and everything is pretty much as high as it can go, besides the actual options being ranked up to mythic. That's the only thing that's basically missing from making his build absolutely perfect. But we've got the double HP, we've got the dodge here. All attack is probably the best here because he doesn't need crit rate or crit damage. And then skill cooldown is nice here because you do want to spam his 3rd skill in PvP. And his 3rd skill is actually a lot better than it ever was in PvE content. We've got the type 5 combat enhancement rank, so he does a lot of damage to Deadpools. He very easily one-shots them, which is very nice. I do see a difference there, but otherwise the build is the same. The only thing I would change, I think, if I was going to change anything else, is I'd probably switch these crit rate Urus for HPs, and I do have a few maxed out 6-star HPs that I've gotten from like Shadowland rewards and loyalty boxes and stuff like that. So I might do it. I'm not quite sure whether or not I want to do it, but we're seriously, we're entering like maximum build potential here. We're very close to having a fully 100% mythic maxed out Wolverine. So let's go and see just how well he fares, because it's actually quite entertaining. That first fight was against Jay Reno. We're going to go ahead and we're just going to go down the list of all the different teams. We're going to do a little bit of manual play first, and then we'll end off with a bit more auto play. But it's very fun to play as Wolverine. I mean, I love Wolverine, so I'm biased, of course, but it is very fun to play as Wolverine in Timeline. One of the things that I was mentioning to my Twitch chat was that teams that start off with a weak first character like Wasp, or even like Jean Grey, a character that you can kind of tank their attacks, because Wolverine has so much HP and healing, you can use that to charge up your tier 3 skill early. And so you can kind of set yourself up to one-shot the more dangerous 2nd or 3rd character. Now in this case, the more dangerous character on this team is, of course, Captain Marvel. I can tank her non-binary 4th skill, which is a really important distinction to make, but I cannot tank her binary 5th skill. I've died almost every single time when it hits me. So that's something you need to either kill her before she enters binary, or you need to set up your tier 3 skill to one-shot her, or you need to get extraordinarily lucky. But most of the time, if they don't do it in time, they're dead. And it doesn't take very long for that to happen. So he doesn't have a lot of bad matchups. I would say Strife is still a very difficult matchup for Wolverine in general because of all that fracture, and also unlike Deadpool, Wolverine has the type disadvantage against Strife. So it's actually interesting seeing type enhancement and also type advantage and disadvantage actually come back in a small way and have some sort of meaningful impact in PvP. But most characters just, you know, they give Wolverine a little scratch, but they're really not doing much. I think I've only been one-shotted by a couple of characters, being Strife and Captain Marvel until now. This is not necessarily the best situation here, but Thanos is a bit more annoying than I wish he was. But we did charge up the tier 3 skill. I'm going to show off the third skill here. It's actually very, very good against Deadpool. I actually just one-shotted him with my third skill, so that's actually probably the best situation. That was an ideal matchup for Wolverine, and that's what you can see and what's so fun about him in PvP. You build up the tier 3 skill against your first opponent if it's someone that you can tank their damage, because it's just they just don't have enough damage to one-shot you, and then you can set yourself up to kill the next two characters, the next one or two characters, with your third skill and your sixth skill. Now, Strife is a little bit different, so that's why it's nice to have Captain America in first. I'm not actually going to attack here, but he's just going to stall for a few seconds. If it was Wasp, she would do basically the same thing. The good thing about Wolverine is he has short cooldown on all of his skills, so it's not hard to work your way back to your fifth skill. So manually, it's actually pretty easy for me to kill Strife. On autoplay is where Wolverine really suffers against Strife. And that's where you start to see some of his weakness. We're going to try to kill Deadpool there. We keep triggering his obelisk because of my crazy damage on 3. I think it most of all, I think it really helps. Like, look at that. Look at that damage. It really helps to counter Deadpool specifically. It's got a really nice counter on his on the end of his fifth skill as well when he's coming out of the immunity, and he's dead. And that third skill, it works so well. And so you just combo that third skill with the sixth skill. The sixth skill is an iframe with iframe ignore. So he ignores your enemy's iframe. So that sixth skill just shreds anyone as soon as it's ready to be cast. And I haven't found anybody that's been able to tank that. Possibly an enemy, no, I fought that guy already. Possibly an enemy Wolverine, but I'm not sure. You could also possibly die on autoplay to a Dr. Doom. Using his fifth skill, but still, it's tough. Wolverine does a lot of damage, and the nice thing about Wolverine's third skill in PvP is, look at that, he just killed Dr. Doom. A lot of characters have skills with lingering effects. So like this fourth skill, for example, these lingering attacks, they trigger Wolverine's third skill really nicely. So although it was definitely super frustrating, and I know I might sound like a hypocrite now. Oh, Cynicalex, you told us Wolverine's third skill sucked. It does suck for PvE. I said at the time that I wasn't sure. I just one-shotted her with the third skill. I said at the time that I wasn't... Oh, I'm dead. I'm dead. This is bad. Oh, I actually killed her with the fourth skill. I got super lucky. So that time, Captain Marvel did 5 and then did 1. And 1 is actually her only non-iframe skill. And I was able to kill her with the fourth skill in that small gap. I got super lucky there. But going back to what I was saying... I know I sound like a hypocrite, guys. I'm not trying to be a hypocrite. I'm not trying to confuse you. Yes, I do think that Wolverine's third skill is still stupid for PvE content. If they had skills that could have different effects, whether you're playing in World Boss or whether you're playing in Timeline Battle, that would be cool, and that would actually work a lot for Wolverine. But I do think that if it's only going to be one type of skill, that it's a PvP skill, that it does function properly. It definitely does its intended job for PvP specifically, but I think I'm going to die here. Wolverine has, as I said, a very difficult time dealing with, yeah, I couldn't recover my HP fast enough. I got hit too many times by Strife, so he stacked up too much fracture, and I couldn't stall long enough for the fracture to go away, for Wolverine's health to come back and start regenerating. So that's definitely the most dangerous fight against Wolverine, is against a Strife. But once you get past the Strife using another character, or once you get past Strife using Wolverine, it's pretty easy to finish off the rest of the team. with Wolverine. He's very fun to play, and the third skill is actually very applicable. Sometimes it's frustrating, like I think using the third skill against Captain Marvel is probably a mistake. She, uses too many iframes, but using it against speed-type characters, Deadpool, I mean, I don't know why it got canceled there. It's a little buggy sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't work properly, but I found that more often than not, it's really effective against characters like Deadpool. There we go. Oh, I almost one-shotted him. I should have used another skill. I'm trying to just kill him with the third skill. I'm trying to be cute about it, but I really should just combo it. He keeps stunning me somehow. Yeah. Okay, let's try. Let's be a little bit more aggressive here, because this is kind of getting annoying. I don't know why he keeps Wolverine's fifth skill keeps getting canceled for some reason, and I think. Oh wow, I killed him. I thought I was gonna die because Wolverine kept getting canceled out of it. There we go. Boom. And now we're just going to use our third skill, and we're going to kill the enemy Wolverine. And it's basically over. Nobody can survive that his sixth skill when he pops that off. I don't think there's any character that can survive that much damage. And he still does that much damage with no proc, which is really nice to see that much damage popping off on his sixth skill. But I think characters like Quicksilver, characters like Deadpool, if they frustrate you in timeline battle, I think Wolverine's a really good counter, not only because he has the type advantage, but because he that third skill really works. When Quicksilver uses his fifth skill and then uses another skill, or when Quicksilver uses his second skill, both of those skills are non-iframe. Well, 5 is an iframe, but it has lingering attacks. So if Quicksilver does 5 and then he does a different skill, you can take that opportunity to do your third skill, and then his fifth or his second, those tornadoes, will trigger your third skill counterattack, and you'll actually one-shot him in between. So it's actually really nice, and it synergizes. It's kind of like an anti-synergy for them, and it's a pro-synergy for you, but it's quite effective at taking care of these kind of pesky speed-type characters. And there was another time where I got him. I think he's dead now, and then we're just going to one-shot Captain Marvel. So this is a pretty fun way to just mow down timeline battle teams. I know I'm making it look easy because I have like a top 25 Wolverine and I'm playing manually. So let's go back now to the top. We're going to skip the first guy because we already did that, and we're going to skip the second guy too. We'll go straight to him, and we will fight fully on auto. We'll switch from Captain America over to Wolverine, and we'll just let him do all the work. And it's pretty nice. I've had a few times where he actually builds up his tier 3 skill and then ends up using it against the second or third character, basically the way that I was talking about it, which is really cool. He still does some dumb stuff. He still kind of stands around awkwardly during certain characters' attacks. On autoplay, he's a little bit more vulnerable against characters like Doctor Doom, and he's still super... Oh, he's dead. He's so dead. This is probably the first time you guys are going to see me die to Captain Marvel. Yep. Yeah, he's still definitely, he's definitely not immortal. He's definitely killable. Captain Marvel with binary form is probably the scariest character in PvP right now, especially one-on-one, because you can't hide behind a different character and you have to fight her, and she's going to do her fourth skill. I don't think there's any character that can hold her off when she does her fourth skill in binary. But other than that, he does a really good job, and he's very fun to watch just go to work and kind of just bounce around, slashing and scrapping. And it really does feel like Wolverine's home again. So I am really happy with that. It's given me a bit more appreciation for the value of the CTP of regen, which I was not really liking too much on Deadpool, although it does have its uses. It seems to be a lot more effective for Wolverine with that insane HP pool. We're talking, over 200,000 HP, and I don't even have a lot of HP on my cards, so imagine if I did, how much more that would be. And then even the third skill, I'm actually just really happy with how effective he is for PvP, despite the fact that he's... Oh, I might be dead, actually. Wow. I've never seen a Deadpool kill me before, but that guy hit the proc. I don't know if he has a CTP of energy, what he's using. Oh, he doesn't have a CTP of energy. He hit like a guard break proc. That was strange. He did a ton of damage to me, but there we go. Third skill. Boom, and she's dead. This is full auto. Very, very fun to watch. And I do feel like, I feel like now I'm getting my money's worth. So for those of you that maybe felt disappointed by your tier 3 Wolverines, or maybe even your level 70 X-Force uniform mythic Wolverines, try out this build. Now, if you don't have a CTP of regen, that's okay. You can substitute it for something like guard break immunity, HP invincibility, or guard break immunity, recovery rate invincibility. But you'll still have a pretty good, you'll still have a pretty good run with him. He won't be as tanky, of course, but that's kind of to be assumed. He'll still be quite good, but he definitely needs that guard break. You see that he still does get guard broken here because certain skills have guard break immunity, or guard break immunity penetration, I should say, which is kind of weird to, understand, but we'll get into that in another video. And actually, someone else made a video about that, so I might just refer you guys to that in the future if you're wondering what I'm talking about. But yeah, some skills like Jean Grey's 5th skill, as you're seeing from these clips right now, Quicksilver's 2nd skill, and there's a few others, actually still guard break you, even if you have a guard break immunity. Obelisk, I don't think it's a bug with the CTP of regen like it was before, because that bug did get addressed. But I think she's dead here if she doesn't binary, which is amazing. So yeah, this is tier 3 PvP Wolverine. Now, is Endgame going to bring us a proper PvP mode for me to get not only more satisfaction, but more kind of success and resources, things? Am I going to get more bang for my buck for my tier 3 Wolverine investment with Endgame? I don't know. I really hope there's a new PvP game mode around the corner. I hope there's new improvements to existing PvP game modes, the way that they completely reworked World Boss Ultimate when they introduced Infinity War. If they did that for PvP with Endgame, that would be amazing. And maybe we'll see more value for Wolverine, but I think he gets about enough value now. He just needs to be banned less. I think that's the only issue that I have currently with Wolverine in PvP and Timeline, is that the 2 weeks after he was introduced, he was banned both weeks. After the update introduced his tier 3, which feels super bad to tier 3 a character and then not be able to use them for 14 days out of the month. So let me know what you guys think. That was manual and autoplay Wolverine against the top Vibranium teams, mostly against Strife, Captain Marvel, Deadpool, a little bit of Doctor Doom, Jean Grey action, and he dominates most of those characters one-on-one, save for Binary, Captain Marvel, and a few annoying Strife interactions. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you agree with the reassessment of Wolverine's 3rd skill and Wolverine's PvP potential in general. Is he top 5 PvP? Hit me up. Subscribe if you enjoyed the content, yada yada yada. And of course, if you like what you see, I hope to see you again tomorrow. Take care.